My video is on Mary Jackson. Mary Jackson was born on April 9th, 1921 in Hampton, Virginia. She would graduate with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and physical science from Hampton Institute in 1942. And after graduating, she would take up a math teacher position at a black school in Calvert County, Maryland. After teaching, Mary returned after teaching to find a position as a receptionist at the King Street USO Club, and this club was meant to serve the Black community around. Jackson would marry Levi Jackson, and she would leave the USO after the birth of the first child. After this, Jackson would organize a Girl Scout troop, and she would help the girls in the club with their homework, sew them dresses for school, and guide them to go to college to be best they could be. And she would end up joining a thing called the Civil Service, and Jackson would become a clerk typist, and there she would accept an offer to work as a quote unquote human computer for Dorothy Vaughan, another African American woman, and the NACA, which was the predecessor before NASA. Uh, on a road to become the first African American female engineer, Jackson would have to start to do courses that were very hard for her to become an engineer. So she would have to go to these courses that were held in a segregated school in Hampton, Virginia, and she had to ask for permission about her being in a class with her white peers. She would almost resign from her job from the NACA because of all the unequal conditions that was there in the school. And it would only take a chance encounter with her supervisor for her to not quit, and she pushed through. And in 1958, she would become the first of NASA's first Black female engineer. As she worked at NASA, she would mostly deal with airflow around an aircraft, and she would also analyze data on aircraft flight experiments. She would be a co-author for many works, and some of the works that she co-authored on were the effects of a nose angle and Mach number on transition on cones at supersonic speeds. Jackson would continue to co-author more reports on the behavior of the boundary layer of air around airplanes, and then promotions started to slow down for her because before this they were rising because she was writing all these reports. But once they started to slow down, she got a little frustrated. She got frustrated, and she would end up changing her career in 1979, and she would fill a position at the Langley's Federal Women's Program manager. And this was a program that would get more uh, female mathematicians, engineers, and scientists to be hired at NASA. After NASA, Jackson would retire in 1985, and she would have honors like the Apollo's Group Achievement Award, and she would be named Langley's Volunteer of the Year in 1976. She would serve as the chair of one of the Center annual United Ways campaign. She would also be a Girl Scout troop leader for 3 decades, and she was a member of the National Technical Association. This was a big tech association for the African American community. Jackson would die on February 11th, 2005, and after her death, Jackson's contributions to the space program would receive a greater recognition. These are my reference that I used for my PowerPoint and for this video. And thank you for watching and learning more about Mary Jackson.